Today's project is turning this into this. Good morning, everyone. Aja here from gardendayz. I installed this arch walkway probably about 2 years ago with the intentions of growing vines over it and creating a nice shaded archway. But unfortunately, the plants that I have planted, I'm on vine 3 now. The first 2 died off, but this Virginia creeper has been in its spot for about a year now. And it is the variegated form, which is called Star Showers. Looks more variegated here, and also it was more variegated when I planted it. Right now, it's just a light shade of green. So what I want to do is take driftwood, or what I call driftwood. It's actually wood that's been laying around the property for a while, but it mimics a driftwood look. So I want to take that and kind of encase this archway with it. So that way, when there's no vines growing on it, it still looks interesting. The cattle panel trellis, not so much. What I did is stuck T-posts into the ground, 3 of them, to support the trellis on both sides to give it that nice arch, and it has good height on it. I put 2 solar lights at the end. I might actually add more at a later time. The only problem I have is this part right here. I need to bind these together. So what I should actually do is take some zip tie or metal wire and bind these. I thought I did that at one point because it is kind of coming apart, and line it up before I get the driftwood on there. Right here is what I call my crystal tree. I found this dead tree on the property. I cut it down and replanted it here. I guess you can call it planted, but it is a dead tree. I just dug it into the ground, and then I hung crystals all over it. I have done other driftwood projects. This is what I'm talking about here. This one is just laid down and creates kind of a feature until it hits the gate here, which is also made out of driftwood. I think it's a very interesting look. I thought I would continue that look and create an arbor out of the wood. I do like the look of it and how natural it is in the garden. This part of the fencing was just laid on the ground, and then I planted the garden around it. But this side gets more structured, like what I showed you. I like both looks. I do like the structured. It's very whimsical. And also the pieces that just lay on the ground. This was done when I first got to the property. My friend Bex actually helped me dig the posts. I used to have it running from that point all the way over, but I did add in 2 walking paths. So I removed all the driftwood. I probably should add it back into this garden here, but I can do that at a later time. These are the extra pieces here. I just laid them on this side. Nothing's really planted out, just created a border. When we first got here, we went through 5 years of drought, so there were a lot of trees that had died off. Not so fortunate for the trees, but for me, it worked out because I got a lot of driftwood from it. This is what I'm going to use for that arbor. First things first is I need to go ahead and connect those 2 cattle panels together. Then I can drag all the wood over and decide the placement of everything. Got some metal wire and some tin snips. This will probably last longer than zip ties. I might actually need some help with this. We'll just set it here for now. We can set it right here. I have to dig the holes. Thank you. Okay, I'm done with the posts. Some of them are kind of tall, but I think it's interesting. It's supposed to definitely be whimsical. That it is. Oh, a hummingbird. No, that's not a feeder. Oops. Oh, wow, there's several vultures in the sky. You might get a better perspective from this angle. The only one that's not tall is this corner here. I thought it would get in the way of the tree, plus this tree will eventually fill out and cover this corner, so it doesn't matter as much. And I was gonna run the posts parallel, but the way this stuff is, it would probably be better if I ran them up and over from the ground. And also I had some copper colored spray paint, and these didn't really match, so I painted all the T-posts one color. I'm definitely liking it so far, and once I get the vines to grow, then I think it'll be awesome. Oh, now there's two hummingbirds. They're fighting. Look at, they're sitting on the arbor. How cute. I think they're playing around. Hey there. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you away. That one's a little braver. He thinks some of these, because they're bright colored, are feeders, but no, there's no feeder, sorry. They get a little crazy when I put the feeders out. So I've just been letting them feed on the flowers. You know, putting in those posts were pretty tough. And the first one I just set on the ground because it had such a wide base. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to dig this out. And also I was worried about them rotting out since these are garden beds and they stay moist, not all the time, but they do have a dripping system that goes through. So I was worried about the moisture. But the ones that were very skinny at the bottom just wasn't stable. So I went ahead and buried those, and that was the 3 posts. The first one wasn't buried, but it did give the structure more stability. And I think once I get the other ones on there, I guess you can call them cross beams. They're not really cross beams, they're more upper beams. It will definitely give the structure more stability. But I mean, these T-posts, they're doing a really good job. They've held this arbor in for 2 years. Right, Momo? Right. One more thing I think I want to do is add either 1 or 2 more posts. Wow, the hummingbirds really like this spot. But anyways, is connecting this to that by adding in 2 more posts. Ooh. And then putting a little cross members into here, just like there. And I think that will fill this space out. I wonder if my neighbors have feeders out because they're acting kind of cuckoo crazy, like feeders are out. They get very protective. When they feed off the flowers, they're not that crazy. But yeah, I find that when I put the feeders out, I had like 3 or 4 feeders out probably 2 years ago, and they were crazy and very territorial and just buzzing around. They even buzzed around my head like they were just doing. So that's why I don't put them out. Look how big this barberry is getting. You might as well just call it a tree, and it has the berries on it. Isn't that beautiful? In the spring, it has little yellow flowers. They're so cute. That's normally what I'm used to them looking like, but this one's getting big too. They're usually a pretty big shrub. Mumu has her little dog treat, and I fixed myself a rice bowl with some soda water. They were ants swarming. I had to put her up on the chair. The clouds are rolling in, so let's get started before it rains. did beat the rain, barely. I feel it starting to sprinkle, and this project is done. Yeah, I like how everything turned out, and once I can get a vine to grow, it will fill in the spaces. I think it'll look even better. The only thing that I don't particularly care for is I probably could add a taller piece right here just to fill in that space. But it's fine. Then I worked on the fencing, extending it to the arbor. There is a drip system here. Now I can just dot in plants where I want to, so it'll fill in these little spaces. I added this one here I'm not too sure about. I want to have another long piece to add right there and make an archway, but I'll work on that more later. And speaking of adding to, I can always add to this. Right now I like it just like it is. I think it looks amazing. And once I get plants to fill in, it'll look even better. I honestly like it kind of bare, like it is. It has that definite whimsical look, but also a little spooky. But plants will help to soften that up. I have a big planting area here. I can put a bush in, and I think that will look nice there. And these small juniper bushes are low growing, and they'll eventually spread out, and that will look nice. On this piece here, there was a branch that came out, so I was able to hang one of my lanterns on it. What do you think, Moo Moo, huh? Starting to drizzle, we better go inside. Well, this was definitely a fun project, but a lot of hard work carrying around these big logs. But if you enjoyed the project as well, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to check out more videos, they'll be right over here. You can subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you next time. Thank you for visiting. Mwah.